Hello everyone, my name is Dan Pacheco, Director of Agent Development here at Preferred Real Estate Brokers, and today I am joined by the famed Mario Deniz of also Preferred Real Estate Brokers.
Was that defamed or defamed?
Famed.
Okay.
Famed, yeah. Defamed, we'll see if we can do maybe something like that with this interview here. But Mario's a man of many things, right? He's one of our top agents consistently here at Preferred Real Estate Brokers. He is the creator and host of Keeping It Real Estate, really awesome podcast. Make sure you tune into that. And he's also about to be an ultra endurance athlete should all things go well next weekend. We'll be getting into that in just a little bit here. So Mario, thanks so much for joining me today, man.
Of course, anytime.
Thank you. So listen, man, I think I know you're one of those agents that are really well known throughout all of Central Florida, perhaps the state, perhaps planet Earth even at this point. But you're known for your sharp wit and intelligence. And sometimes,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes people misinterpret that as being, as you sometimes say, the bear, right, of real estate. But really, the more that I get to know you, I understand that as someone that just gives a dang about their craft. So talk to me more about your perspective on real estate, kind of what you do in it, how you operate it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, real estate it's not a career that was my career by default. I was recruited into real estate by a dear friend, and I had a passion for it from the beginning. My dad was involved always in purchasing property, so I was very curious about it initially, and then I just had this undying love for it, and I became obsessed with it, every aspect of it. I was a licensed mortgage broker for a number of years.
Okay.
I worked for a developer for a number of years. And then I decided to combine the experience that I had learned working with a developer and working in the mortgage industry and put that to work for people who wanted to buy and sell real estate, in the residential market. And so what it's done for me, it's really validated that was the right decision, because I really enjoy working with people. I enjoy serving people. When I show up to someone's house that's looking to sell their house, I'm not showing up to try to sell them anything. I'm trying to figure out how I can help them. And so that's my perspective in the industry, and same thing, with my team. Everyone in my team has the same mentality. When we meet a new buyer or a would-be buyer or seller, we are not trying to figure out how we can sell them a house or how we're going to list their house. We're showing up and finding out, how can we help? What do you need help with, and how can we help you? And so if we get paid in the end, that's awesome. But ultimately, we're there first to help, and everything else has to happen as a consequence.
I like that a lot. That's a great perspective. So you mentioned your team. Now your numbers again are I think they're pretty tremendous. And typically when you have that kind of production on a consistent basis, you do have a team, and the team is maybe 8 or so agents. Your team operates a little bit thinner on that side. Talk to me about them and why you chose them and the roles they have.
I didn't choose them; they chose me.
Oh, that sounds very like superhero. I like that a lot.
Well, it's the truth. So I worked with a team for a number of years, and I was a buyer's agent in a team for a number of years. And I decided after a number of years that there was enough things that I wanted to implement on my own that I thought would be effective to provide a better customer service experience to clients, that it was time for me to part ways. And so here I am, 3.5 years ago, new baby, and I tell my wife, hey, by the way, we're under contract to buy a new house.
Right.
And I say, hey, I'm quitting my job, and I'm gonna go on my own. And so, ever since then, it's been validated. That was probably midway through 2017. Towards the end of 2017, there was an agent that preferred Anicia Singh, who was very young. She was starting in real estate, and she wasn't getting the consistent business exposure that she wanted to have.
Okay.
I call it at bats.
Right.
She wasn't getting enough opportunities to swing her bat.
Sure.
And so I told her, I said, listen, we're very early into this, but if you trust the vision that I have for a team that focuses on the client first, that does what's right and wants to save people money every single time, then join me, and I will make sure that there's enough leads so that you can get those at-bats. And so she started working with me, and then she started getting some consistent business and doing well, and her production started ramping up. and that was all of 2018. 2019, it was basically just her and I, and we ended up doing about $13-14 million, the two of us.
Nice.
In 2019. And towards the end of 2019, Tommy Midler, who is someone that when he originally got licensed many years ago, I trained him as a buyer's agent. He had gone on his own for a while, and he really is someone that thrives in that team structure because it allows him to do what he loves doing, which is talking with buyers all the time and with clients and having exposure to people. He's a very interactive guy. And so he asked me if there was a room for him in the bus. And when a superstar like him comes to you and tells you there's a room in the bus, you make room.
Right.
And so that's precisely what I did. And so I took myself out of lead rotation to provide more opportunities for him without affecting the opportunities that Anicia was getting. And, we started the year sort of with that mentality, like these two people, in my opinion, have to be producing and making all of the money, and I'm just here to support them and to take care of the customers that want to work with me because they've worked with me in the past. And so that was the mentality going into 2020. 2020 has thrown a lot of curveballs our way, and so but they've risen to the occasion. I think when you have big challenges like we've had in 2020, with COVID, with changes in how we show property and all of that, and people basically raise their hand and say, put me in, coach.
Right.
And they go in and they win the game for you, then you reward them accordingly. And so my team runs on a mentality that the team leader is here to support the team, that the team has to make a lot of money, that they need to make significantly more money than every other team out there is willing to pay them, because I want the math to be very complicated if somebody wants to take them away from me. So
I like that a lot, Mario, and that's again, that's obviously an understatement for me to say. I just simply like that. But being able to see you guys operating, it's a very fluid atmosphere. I mean, it is very obvious that you guys are very much at the top of your game. That's indicated at the board you have in your office that shows all of your successes and your plotting and everything and what's coming up. But it's also, again, a very fluid atmosphere and cultivating just fun. And I think really with that dissolves the barriers of sometimes to those typical team leads, right? Where the team leader is maybe too not forward thinking, but strong-minded, too much of authoritative figure is what I'm trying to say, right? But at the same time, I've seen that some that are way more on the relaxed side of things that kind of dissolve the integrity and also the laser focus of the team. And you guys really seriously operate at such a good balance of both of those things. And I know that's why you're so successful with that.
Yeah, the way my mindset on it has been very simple from the beginning. And I don't understand why this doesn't really catch fire in the industry. But when you have a business like we do, which operates in a relatively low volume, even the top teams out there have minimal customer interactions based, compared to say 7-Eleven. So, volume-wise, we don't operate with thousands of people on a daily basis. So what that affords us is the opportunity to really provide the customer service experience that's going to make someone miss us once the closing happens.
Really?
And that's something that we try to focus on. And so then I like to see when I talk about customer service, so our 3 pillars in our company are integrity, service, results. When I talk about service, it's not service just to the people that are buying and selling homes with us. To me, service is how we treat other agents, is how we treat title companies, how we treat lenders and everyone else involved in the transactions. I see them all as customers. And so specifically when it comes to the team, I think we're an industry that has been gotten accustomed for many years that we reward people's success by giving them a $22 plastic trophy or glass trophy at the end of the year, when that reality is, if we are serious about really wanting to reward people, we should do so with money. Someone working in my business is an agreement of me providing them enough opportunity for them to make the money that they would like to make. And so if they do an exceptional job, in return, the business makes more money. I mean, it is only natural for the business to want to reward those people accordingly.
I love it. I love that. And that's something, if you guys are watching right now, you'll obviously understand that Mario is full of intelligence. And one of the most profound things that's always going to stick with me from your school of thought is you've done classes for us, here at Preferred and other places as well. The number one thing you tell people, though, when it comes to attracting more customers or once you're having that face-to-face with them is simply to get them to fall in love with you. And sometimes that's maybe the opposite of what most people think about when, they just see you at face value.
Yeah.
So talk to me now more a little about your podcast, because I know I was on a guest on one, a few months ago, and that was a really cool experience. So tell me more why you started and what you do with it.
Yeah, so I have a very big passion for the industry. I think there is a bunch of stuff that happens right in the industry, but I also think we've become an industry that likes to cover up with smoke and mirrors a lot of deficiencies in it.
Right.
The agents that are not doing the right thing, brokers that are hiring agents just because they have a pulse, lack of training, lack of supervising of agents, inability for someone to be able to pick up the phone and call a broker to let them know their agent's not doing the right thing, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought the best way to get that message out was to consistently have long-form conversations with agents and industry professionals in the area that want to discuss these topics and put them out there.
Brilliant, man. That's an awesome thing. So what's it called again? Keeping It Real Estate.
Keeping It Real Estate.
And where can people find that?
iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, we it's everywhere. So
very cool, very cool. So the top of this interview, we addressed the fact that, again, you're an agent that is very good at what he does with a fantastic team. Talked about the podcast. The last thing we have to quench right here is the 50 miler that we have coming up here, Mario. So tell us what is happening.
Well, so I believe you're kind of taking advantage of me a little bit.
Advantage?
Yes.
Okay, explain.
I had a bucket list item for this year that I wanted to do an ultra race. So I like to run, I like to bike, I like to participate in some of these events. And so I wanted to do an ultra race, bucket list item kind of for the year. But because of COVID, most of those are canceled.
Correct.
And so you decided that we don't need to pay an event organizer for it.
Right.
That we're going to save money that way. So this
Tons
is
of money.
This is really a
so
good
much
deal.
savings and value in this.
This is really a good deal. And we're going to attempt, not this Saturday, but next one, which is August 28th or 29th, I'm not sure. We're going to attempt to do a 50-mile trail run, sun up to sundown. And I've never attempted anything, a run that big. I've probably only gotten close to half of that before. And you'll be my Sherpa through it because you've done it before a bunch of times in the past, not recently, but...
Not recently at all. Yeah, it's been quite some time. And I just say that I'm in the fat storage stage. It's important to get your carbohydrates level. So I've been storing my fat levels for about 8 years now. So I think I'm primed and ready to go. But I love the fact that you're so willing to do this. It took some convincing, it took some talking, because you're thinking about it. You're a meticulous person. And so I think that this... tenacity and willingness to do this also translates into your style of business too. It's you're again an intelligent move, but you're a bold person. So I will be there for sure to be your emotional Sherpa or even physical Sherpa if need be. And get you there, man. Yeah,
the thing about it is this. This is what it comes down to. Something like this sometimes requires a lot of preparation, but also I think this kind of appealed to me because I don't like organized events. So I do them because they're the only thing available. But I'm not a big fan of having a big organized event because everything that I do physical, I do for my own doing. And so this was the perfect way, I think, to try to do something like this, where there is going to be no fancy backdrops for pictures. There's going to be no awards. There's going to be no crowds cheering unless someone wants to come and cheer. You'd be greatly appreciated. And so we'll give it a try. It's going to be mostly unassisted, I think. Hopefully not, but maybe it'll be unassisted, and we'll see. We'll see what we get to. I mean, and we can do a wrap up afterwards to see where we collapse.
So at the finish line, that's where we collapse. So you heard it here first. We'll be doing the 50 miler next Saturday, and we'll have the post race show on Keeping It Real Estate on Mario's awesome and wildly excellent podcast. So,
very good. Thank
Mario,
you.
Thank you very much for having me here today. So Mario, what are some ways that people can get in touch with you or your team?
Yeah, Mario Deniz. So if you find me on Facebook, I run kind of a lot of my stuff through my personal page. Keeping It Real Estate Podcast is my podcast. And if you want to see my website, my business website, if you're interested in buying and selling real estate and you're curious about that, you can go to the denizgroup.com or clearhomevalue.com. We have a YouTube channel that is showcasing renovations of property. We have links to the podcast. We have downloads of PDFs of magazines that we've published. That's our Real Secrets Guide to anyone that's looking to buy or sell real estate, to learn a little bit about the inside scoop on the game. So those are the best ways to get in touch with me.
That's fantastic and very comprehensive. I love that. All right, so everyone watching, thank you so much. Make sure you get in touch with this guy. He's very intelligent and good at what he does, and so does his team. So again, Mario, thanks for being here. Everyone, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.